Donald Trump wants America's favorite museum to stop talking about slavery. He had a brain fart today on Fox News of titanic proportions. And Home Depot pounded a stake through his economic heart with a devastating shocker that surely left him spinning. And I have it all for you next in something I like to call
Trending.
When I do a report late in the day, I like to grab the things that flew under the radar because Donald Trump does like to flood the zone, as they say, and with all that chaos, you may have missed some of his dastardly deeds. Let's begin this report with his latest racist proclamation. It came in the form of a Truth Social post that attacked the Smithsonian for having the gall to educate the world about slavery.
What is Trump saying?
Yeah, and just a reminder to our viewers, he ordered this review. The White House said that this was in order to make sure that our historical museums, the U.S. historical museums, were aligned essentially with the Trump agenda. But then he put out this post, and it's not surprising because he uses the word woke, but there are certainly elements of it that I think many people will take issue with. He says specifically, the Smithsonian is out of control, where everything discussed is how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Nothing about success, nothing about brightness, nothing about the future. I think it's probably clear from here the part that many people might take issue with, the idea that the Smithsonian is somehow saying how bad slavery is when slavery was a very dark part of the United States history. It also appears from this that he wants to take out reference to slavery or to, he uses the word unaccomplished, the downtrodden have been, which is not entirely clear what that means. But these museums do exist in order to tell the story of the United States and of America and of our history and culture. And the tragedy of slavery is certainly a part of that. This is really exactly what people were concerned about when they first heard about this review, that it would somehow remove critical parts of American history. Of course, if he is talking about removing reference to slavery, that would fall right into that category.
Now let's transition from racism to ageism as I share his latest senior moment that occurred while chatting with the Fox propaganda channel. Have a listen as he draws a blank on the largest body of water in the world, that big beautiful blue thing that sits between him and every world leader that he just hosted, and then I'll share the hammer he received from Home Depot.
Yeah, they are. They're very good people. They're very good leaders of their countries, and they want to get back to leading their country. They're consumed far more with this than we are, because they're right there. We have an ocean that's separating us, right? Thing called an ocean, a big, beautiful ocean. And
now for our featured story. Home Depot is a company that is more famous these days for being stormed by Trump's Gestapo agents looking to send day workers to internment camps. Have a listen to today's news. It's an assault of a different kind that he definitely doesn't want you to hear.
Higher prices at Home Depot. Until now, America's largest home improvement retailer had offered limited guidance on the impact of tariffs. However, the company's CFO told CNN that some of its prices could be going up because of the cost of the Trump administration's taxes on imports. For more, we're joined now by CNN business and politics correspondent Vanessa Yurkevich. Tell us more about this, Vanessa.
Yeah, well, America's largest home improvement retailer cannot escape tariffs. As you mentioned a few months ago, they really were waiting and seeing, not really commenting on how tariffs might affect prices. But now we know they are going to have to raise prices on some of their inventory.
Okay, let's break down what you just saw. With regards to Trump's racism, I can remember when dog whistle was the phrase most frequently used to describe his brand of bigotry. But since he stopped hiding it a long time ago, that phrase has disappeared from the zeitgeist, and many of his enthusiastic supporters with those same dark thoughts are now as emboldened as ever. As for a senior moment, that was just one of many this week, and it's only Tuesday. My personal favorite, when he uttered, "When you go into a voting booth, they ask me for my license plate, right?" He sounded off his rocker, but just in case he's signaling a new plan for voter ID, please pack a screwdriver when you drive yourself to the midterms. And about Home Depot, it is satisfying and ironic that they're sounding the alarm and will face Trump's wrath. That's because the co-founder is known as a Trumper and has reportedly been very generous with contributions. But I guess the Trump tariff lie was just too big to keep under wraps with a heavy-duty all-purpose polytarp secured by a ratchet tie-down strap with steel J-hooks, which is also available at Lowe's, by the way. That's my trending report, and now I want to hear from you. Please comment below, and let's continue to occupy democracy together.
I hate Occupy Democrats.